It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome back to the School of Marvelous Light. I heard a question from a young lady, a young Hebrew girl. She was asking about why were the Hebrews so hated? In other words, why were the Negroes so hated by all the people on the earth? It was a TikTok video that somebody on YouTube was sharing. And throughout the comments, it was pretty damn sad, to say the least. All of the answers that all of these people were giving to her question. Well, this is why, and this is why, and it doesn't matter why, and it's this, and bleebity, 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 blee. And none of them gave the simple, honest answer of why this is the case. Let's see why. It's many scriptures that we could read that would expose why we are hated. You see? But let's just read this one right here. Why we go through the things we go through. 2 Kings chapter 17. When is the last time your pastor told you to open up your book to the book of 2 Kings? Chapter 17. We want to understand, as the original Israelites, what caused us to fall into the condition that we have found ourselves in. What was the cause? Because everything has cause and effect. And if you can figure out the cause of why you fell, then you can remedy the situation and heal and not fall anymore. We want to know what the cause is for why we suffer ultimately. And here it is. Verse 7. Let's read. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Abiyah their El, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt. So the first thing we see here is that the children of Israel, is it everybody that he's talking to here? Or every time we see that there's a conversation between the Most High and the people of the earth, he's speaking to these people or through these people every time. So what do we see? It says they sinned against him. So the first thing is, well, why this and why this and why this and why this? Well, the first thing you need to realize is that you sinned as a people. See, Israel is a complete nation. He's talking to them as one. And he says, y'all sinned against me. The one who brought you out of Egypt. Yeah, y'all turned away from me. You see? From under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. See? Y'all started committing adultery and walked in the statutes of the heathen. What did I tell y'all? Don't be like them. Don't do like them. Don't envy the heathen, nor choose none of his ways. See? And walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Abiyah cast out from before the children of Israel. Now, who did he cast out? Who did he cast out of the land? Canaanites. So he's telling you that the Canaanites are heathens, and he kicked them out of the land before them, but now the children of Israel are doing the same thing the Canaanites was doing. See? Before the children of Israel and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly, those things that were not right against Abiyah, their El. So wait a minute. The children of Israel as a personal God. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all. So who are the Israelites? Well, we have confirmed over and over and over that the Negroes are the Israelites. So you Negroes, because like I said, it was a young Negro girl asking this question. See? So how are you going to tell her as a Israelite why she's in the case she's in if you don't go to the book that's written to the Israelites from their God that tells them why everything is the way it is? You see? Well, let's see. They did secretly those things that were not right against Abiyah, their God. Now, does it say Abiyah God? The God? It could. but it doesn't. It says there, personal. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set them up images. Look at this. Just like you see in so-called Negroes' houses. They got Jesus Christ up there on the wall and Mary, the Virgin Mary over on the side and a statue of her and the nativity scene and shit at the church. And you see? They set up images in groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen. See, Israel, you're different. You're set apart. You're peculiar. You're special. You're unique. These are all words that Abba Yah said about you. Your God said this about you. But since you didn't want to hear him and you started to go setting up images and shit, worshiping idols, burning incense in high places, as the heathen whom Abba Yah carried away before them, verse 11, and wrought wicked things to provoke Abba Yah to anger. So, young girl, the reason why you find yourself hated by the whole wide world and at the bottom is because you and your ancestors provoked their God, your God, to anger with their idol worship. And young lady, if you look in your life, you'll see the idol worship in your life that you've been doing that has you hated and rejected. You see? They said they did these things secretly. Verse 12, for they served idols. You hear this? Whereof Abba Yah has said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. Don't do like them damn heathens do. Yet Abba Yah testified against Israel and against Yahudah by all the prophets, just as it is this day. This is how Abba tells the so-called Negroes when they're doing wrong. He sends them a prophet just as it is today. I told you I saw the girl ask the question. I'm giving the answer right now. Though she may not ever hear it, it is for your edification, Israel. You see? Now, when I say the Israelites are Negroes, there are also scattered seed. I have to continuously say this because I know there are new listeners that will get offended and say, hold on, man, wait a minute, man. I'm a grafted in branch. Yes. We're well aware of that. Okay, I just want to make sure I let you guys know that. Yet Abba Yah testified against Israel and Yahudah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes. Is that what the grandson is saying to you guys? Turn away from the wickedness and keep his commandments. Is that what the grandson been telling you? You see how I'm trying to tell you about prophets sent? That's how he's testifying against Israel, that they've been sinning, is because the prophets are telling you you are. Keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. See? Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks. So you hear that, young lady? And all the other elect who have this question? All the other children of Israel who've been wondering why you're so hated and down at the bottom? It's because you and your forefathers have sinned and will not keep his commandments to love one another. That's all it is. You're not loving each other and you're not loving yourself. That's all. You see? You hate yourself, you cannot receive love. And proving you're hating yourself is by turning against your God that chose you. Okay? 15. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain. That means nothing. You chased after nothing and you became nothing. And went after the heathen that were round about them. You started to try to be like Europeans. You started to try to be like Asians. You started to try to live like Arabs live. You started to try to live like everybody except your simple ass is supposed to be like you. Simple. Dwelling in your tent. Minding your own business. Keeping away from the unclean thing. You forgot that. That's why you're in your case. Concerning whom Abba Yah had charged them, talking about the heathens, that they should not do like them. Abba Yah told you don't do like them, and you did like them anyway. That's why. There's your answer. Verse 16, we're continuing. And they left all the commandments. How many of them did they leave? All. Love God, love your neighbor. They left both. And Abba Yah, their Elohim, see, don't even know that their God was, they didn't even know that El was their God. They just think that God is the God of everybody. They never read the words. It says, I'm your God. That's like a man talking to his woman and saying, I'm your husband. Now, that doesn't mean that the other women on the earth won't benefit from me as a man and the things that I give and provide in the world. Let's say I'm a great inventor and I invent great advances in technology that benefit the world and don't harm the world, but they benefit the world. Well, there are other women are benefiting from what I have done, though I have a wife. And I'm telling her, okay, baby, I know that the other women are out there. They want to dress like this and get these kind of shots and wear these waist trainers and do this and do that. And they believe in crystals and they believe that the black woman is God and Jezebel. And they believe that they can do this and burn some sage and that's going to do it. And I'm telling you right now, you don't be like them damn heathens. Don't do nothing that you see their asses do. Don't do nothing you see them do. You be set apart. You be like me. It's so simple. That's what I was saying. Isn't it? You see? So let's continue. So they left all of the commandments of Abba Yah, their El, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. See? And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and use divination and enchantments. Do you hear that, daughters of Zion especially? Do not get caught up using divination and enchantments. I will tell you again. Do not get caught up using divination and enchantments. That is what destroys our people. We have a God. Simply go to him and petition him. Ask and you shall receive. What the hell do you need to be doing divination for and an enchantment for when you have a God that loves you? And sold themselves. Look at this shit. Sign your blood in contract for us. Come on, sign this contract in your own blood. Sell yourself. And sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Abba Yah to provoke him to anger. Therefore Abba Yah was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. So there's your answer. There is your answer. There was none left but the tribe of Yahudah only. Do you hear it? So when Abba Yah kicked us out of our homeland, Yerushalayim, kicked us out of there, only Yahudah remained. And that's why when you see Yahusha in there, you see the Romans already with their sticky fingers in Judea, with Herod and all those Edomites calling themselves Jews. You see it's already been infiltrated, and you see that there's only one tribe left remaining in Israel, and that is the Jews. So Abba Yah didn't lie. And then they got kicked out too. Let's see. 19. Also Yahudah kept not the commandments of Abba Yah, their El, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. Come on, they did just like their sister did. And Abba Yah rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers. Why are you hated? Any of you so-called Negroes on the earth right now, why are you hated and at the bottom? And Abba Yah rejected all of the seed of Israel, all of the Negro, melanated, woolly-headed people, and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. 21. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following Abba Yah and made them sin a great sin. What did I tell you? Solomon, he was king. See, that's why I said he was rent from David. David was king. He gave it to Solomon. Israel and Judah were one nation under Solomon. After Solomon sinned, making those groves, rejecting the commandments, then the covenant, the house was broken into two. Jeroboam took the northern kingdom. Rehoboam took the southern kingdom, and the house divided cannot stand. And that is what I was telling you right now. 22. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did. They departed not from them, until Abijah removed Israel out of his sight. And he had said by all of his servants the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. See? That's why you're hated. That's why you're kicked out. That's why you're at the bottom, because you don't keep your God's commandments. You see? Let's jump ahead a little bit. Let's see. Let's jump ahead. Let's jump ahead to 33. Okay, let's go to 32. So they feared Abijah, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared Abijah, and served their own gods, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not Abijah. See? Neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandments which Abijah commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. See that? With whom Abijah had made a covenant, and charged them. You see, young Negro girl? He made a covenant with your people. See? Saying, you shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But Abijah, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and a stretched out arm, him shall you fear, and him shall you worship, and to him shall you do sacrifice. And the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandments which he wrote for you, you shall observe to do evermore, and you shall not fear other gods. And the commandment that I have made with you, you shall not forget, neither shall you fear other gods. But Abijah, your El, you shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all of your enemies. There's your solution. 40, howbeit, they did not hearken. You see, little one? This is why. But they did after their former manner. So these nations feared Abijah and served their great, well, says the Lord, that means Baal. So these nations feared Baal and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so do they unto this day. So there's your answer. My bad about fear of the Lord and using Abijah's name there. It's about Baal. Remember when he said, in another place, he said, it will come a time when you will no longer refer to me as Baal or the Lord. Let's get that. But y'all will call me Ishi, Isaiah, husband. You see? Not Baali, Baalai. You see? Which means the Lord. Let's read that in Hosea. Hosea chapter 2, verse 16. It says, let me get away a little second in case y'all want to find it. And it shall be at that day, Hosea 2:16, saith Abijah, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shall call me no more Baali. See? Or Lord, or my master. See? You're going to call me husband. Just like a woman would do. See? If she was a servant to the man, she would call him Lord or master. But if she was married, she would call him husband. You see? So if you read Hosea chapter 2, it's going to tell you the same thing we just read in Kings. That's why the Spirit had me jump to Hosea 2. If you read it, it'll say the same thing. It'll talk about two sisters that have committed adultery, and that Judah was left, and then Judah went after and did the same thing that Israel did, and how he had to cast them away, and that he couldn't be married to them anymore. But then they came back, and he brought them back in his grace. You see, he brought them back in his love for her. See? Let's read that real quick. Hosea 2, let's read 13. And I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burned incense to them, see, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me. says Abba Yah. See? Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. See? See? And I will give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope, and she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, saith Abba Yah, that thou shalt no longer call me, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shall call me no more Baali. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground, and I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yeah, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness, and in judgment, and in loving kindness, and in mercies. And I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know, Abba Yah. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will hear, says Abba Yah, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn, and the wine, and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. Remember, he kicked us out and said, get out of my face, bitch. That's what he said. I'm just keeping it real with you in plain terms. He said, get the fuck out of my house, bitch. You nasty ass adulterous bitch. You want to keep fucking them other niggas, then get the hell out of my house. That's why we are hated. A whore is hated, man. A nasty ass $2 whore is hated and rejected. Why can't y'all understand it's not good to be a whore? It's not. It brings nothing but shame and contempt. As he said, but in his mercy he had upon us, that we didn't obtain mercy, now we have obtained it. And I will say to them which were not my people, you are my people. And they shall say, you are my El. Indeed, we have. I am is my God. Who is your God today? There was a time when I didn't know that I am was my God. I had all kinds of names of the Lord in my mind, as he said, the Lord, Jehovah, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nissi. Not understanding. I was far off from my husband. Ishi. I am one with my husband. I am. All praise to you, Father, for your reconciliation and your knowledge. And thank you for your prophets, your holy prophets, who reminded us to fear you and keep your commandments in hard circumstances, and even being hated doing so, stood strong and stood firm in love and zeal for your people. And I thank you for all and each every last one of your servants, Father. So that's why, little flock, little children of this great nation we call Israel, formerly known as Yaakov. Y'all know that today, and come home, come back to your Father. Siloam Israel.